Hey y'all, you're listening to Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where two pals recap international romance sensations while swooning, laughing, and sweating. To be fair, that was mostly me. All right, it was all me. There are so many of you who support the show in different ways, and whether it's leaving a 5-star rating and review, or talking romance with us on social media, or becoming a patron, I really, really appreciate you. This week, we've got a few new patrons to shout out. Welcome to Elaine CM, Antonia VP, and Daphne G. And then we've got some very long-time patrons who need some love as well. Big giant audio hugs to Cora C, Nick C, Danny W, Kieran S, Nina C, Kathy A, and Deandra M. Thank y'all for being patrons. Now, this might seem a little random, but if you've been thinking to yourself, I really need some filthy alien romance in my earballs, boy, is it your lucky day. Toxic Desire by Robin Lovett is now out in audiobook. I had the honor of narrating this book, and I'm so excited for everyone to listen. I'm so excited to hear what you think. You can find it on every major audiobook platform. This week, Naima and I are finishing up our recap of the Amazon Prime movie, My Fault, which is based on a book by Mercedes Ron. Now, if you need more step-sibling romance in your life, be sure to grab Passion and Ink by your friend and mine, Naima Simone. It's book 2 in her Sweetest Taboo series, and you will definitely see her love of the trope shine through in her writing. Okay, on to the recap. And then he does a big kiss on her. And then she straddles him. And they're doing a big makeout. And, and he says, "This is so wrong." And she's like, "Yeah.
Now you're realizing it?
It's really, really wrong." And then he's like, "You're my stepsister and you're 17. And she says, "Then kiss me till I'm 18.
They had the best. I love that.
Good job.
I was like,
that was a good comeback.
Because I would have never even had the mental fortitude to come up with something that smooth and something that sweet. Like, I'd have been like, if he'd have said, "But you're only 17, I'd have been like, that's legal in some states.
I don't care. I won't tell if you won't.
You won't.
My brain is currently in my clitoris."
Or I'd just been like, "So?"
Yeah. What's your point? You knew that before I was in your lap.
That's right. Why is it bothering you now? Then just do a little bumping.
A little bit of a
just a
swirly gig. One of those hip swirly gigs.
That's right. Make him remember whatever he was protesting about.
Okay, so then he pushes her off and he says, "You can't let me do that again."
Right.
And she goes,
"Right, it has to be your responsibility." I thought that was
because of the patriarchy. It has to be your responsibility. I can't control myself around you.
I can't resist your sexuality. So it's your fault if we do this again.
And rightly, she's like, "Wait, hold on a second. You get close to me and then I'm supposed to be the one who stops it?"
Right. But I will say this. The romance reader in me, the romance reader. Yes, because what he's saying is, I have zero control when it comes to you. So you're going to have to be responsible for making us toe this line.
If it's wrong, I don't want to be right. Oh my God.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, it's great. So then the next day, she's doing a car wash on a car we've never seen before and might be the gardener's.
I was like, this wasn't the car that they drove here, was it? Like, where's this random car? It might be the gardeners.
Honestly, it might be like the landscapers. I don't know. It looked a lot like my Isuzu pickup almost. So
I was like, this car isn't a little blasphemous in this house, in this driveway?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he comes out
to them roots, huh?
Oh my God. He comes out in white pants and a blue button down and barefoot. I wasn't okay.
He knows what we like. He does.
Oh, golly. Then he comes out and he's doing a sexy, mischievous smile. And then he leans on a lamppost that is obviously a prop because it did wibble wobble until it almost fell down. Like, yikes. The props department could have staked it a bit better. So then he pulls out a smoke because it's still sexy on him.
Yes.
I hate it, though. I hate it. And
bad
he's like,
as one who has asthma, it's bad for the lungs,
God.
and I choke on it.
Oh, wait.
But you look hot doing it, so
I can't deny it. Oh, no.
No.
So then he says, "You want one?" And she's doing a wash. Ooh. She's doing a wax on it.
So
the car.
Wax off.
And her booty's going as she waxes on. And she goes, "You really shouldn't get rid of your last brain cell." And then he starts to walk over to her, and she takes the hose, and she's like, wait, you said you were supposed to stay away from me. And then she turns it on herself, and she says, "But you can watch me."
Man, I'm like, wait.
And she does this coy little like, "Ooh, look at me go. I'm just dripping with water."
It was like watching the 80s music video, honestly.
Oh my God. Yeah. And so then the mom shows up with what's his nuts? Dan. I'm
like, woman, read the room. But in her defense, she didn't tell her.
Yeah.
Which I didn't understand. Why didn't she tell her?
Why wouldn't you tell
about
her?
Dan cheating? Like, I didn't get why she didn't tell her.
Yeah.
Unless it was just
like a pride thing. Like I've been, waxing poetic about Dan, and it turns out he has been playing tonsil hockey with my best friend.
But it also could have been a way to drive home the guilt factor home. See, if you had not moved us, this would not have happened. So I'm like, either way, it'd have been good to thrust the knife and turn it a little, but okay, she didn't tell her. I don't know. So Dan's there. Why Dan would come?
I have no idea.
No idea.
Like,
what are you expecting? A warm welcome?
What the fuck, dude? So, and the mom is like, "You can kiss. Don't worry about me." And so he goes in for the kiss, and she like,
"Are you crazy?"
Yeah, she turns her head, and he gives her a cheek kiss. And Nick is big mad. Nick is doing a broody jaw clench in a window, being like, "Who's that?" He's like a little bitty in the window. "What's going on in my neighborhood?" And he doesn't like it. So then they do this hilarious pool party scene.
Yes. Oh my God. With him avoiding, because he's seen the picture and the guy who's kissing her doesn't realize it's Nick. So it's this whole thing at the pool party of Nick turning real quick or ducking behind things.
Or putting his hand in front of his face.
Yes, that was hilarious. Jumping in the pool to avoid him seeing his face. I cried. That was funny.
So good.
It was so funny.
And then Lion and Jenna do a distraction on him.
Yes.
So that then Nick can pull her into the pool, and they both swim into this fence of floaties. This is a fence of pool floaties. It
really was. It was like a whole guard. It was like the ring of floaties.
Like it really of floaties.
That's right. A cove of floaties.
A cove, indeed. So they pop up in the middle of this cove of pool floaties.
But
and it's makeout time.
Yeah, but I'm like literally like waiting for somebody other than Dan to see him, because the house is in back of them. It's not like the floaties make them invisible.
No.
It's like
some of them are literally see-through.
Yes.
Like it obscures you a bit, guys, but it doesn't necessarily make you invisible.
Right. So I was like, this is so unwise.
And that is what made it hotter for me and for them.
Yes.
The danger factor.
Yes. Of the possibility of being caught.
Yeah.
Because, spoiler alert, he didn't stay away from her. She didn't make him. No.
In fact, in roughly 3 seconds flat, they're making out. He has her legs around his waist, and he is pushing up against her against the wall. And it's hot.
It is. I think there were bubbles in that pool.
Oh my God.
Like steam just rise. Not from a fart, but like from like the sauna. Because I just realized how that sounds. No, not from a fart. It was from...
Could have been one of those honey farts,
Yes,
Naima.
It was like a sauna. Right.
An orc-spawn fart.
Look, Finley Finn, you keep making it into every one of our discussions.
Me too.
Ma'am, you're gold. That's all I got to say.
I can't quit you. Really? It's the problem. So then they get broken up because the mom calls him. He needs to go, whatever. It's fine. And then he's out later on. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry. First, there's a dusty, dark garage. And there's the car that was won at the race. And there's Ronnie leaning up against it. And then there's a smoking Stubble Man.
Yes.
And all you see is his nose down.
That's right. We don't see his whole face. Yeah. But there's something nefarious afoot. Oh, because she's getting letters, like threatening letters.
She's been being threatened the whole time. Calls, letters, notes, all the business.
And we know it's Ron. Like, we're like Ronnie because he's like, he did tell her, you know,
I'm gonna get you.
I'll get you for this one. Yeah. That's right. So this is Ronnie coming through on his promise.
Yeah.
But now we see that there's something more nefarious afoot than just Ronnie threatening her.
Right. Like, and his name is Smoking Stubble Man.
Of the Chin.
Yeah, of the Chin clan. And he says, why haven't you gone to get her? Ronnie's like, I thought you might want to watch, which is a weird thing to say, Ronnie. It's a weird thing to say.
Yeah, it sounds
Didn't
bad.
like it.
Yeah.
Didn't love it. And then he goes, no, let the party begin. So now, and Ronnie walks out very purposefully. Ooh, he's got a job now.
He's on a mission. Yeah. Right.
So Nick is like out, and he's been having dinner with like girls, but the girls obviously want to do something after, and he's like, sorry, girls, maybe later.
Yeah,
because
I'm
low-key taken.
That's right. I'm still in denial about it,
right.
But
yeah. And so Ronnie finds Nick. And he goes,
why is he walking? Did we find out why he's walking?
Wouldn't he always have a valet? I know he would only go to restaurants that have valet parking.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
And how did you get there? Why, like...
But right before that, well, you know what, Naima? He's walking because we have to see him think about smoking.
That's
and then
say,
oh, she hates smoking. Put it out.
I take my question back.
Put it down.
Yeah, I
Throw it away. Throw the pack away, Nick says. Ooh, he's taken. So
that was a dumb question. I get it now. That's right. Forgive me.
Movie reasons. So he's like, Ronnie says, you're going to send your sister a message. And then later it cuts to him opening the door to his mansion, and he is beat to fuck.
Fucked up.
Wow. Beat all up.
Man, to hell. Yikes. To hell and back. Like, I was like, because I was like, first I was like, dude, you can't fight. But then it was a group of them. It wasn't just Ronnie. Mm-hmm. He got jumped. Yeah. So yeah. Okay, we forgive you for not being able to fight. But if it was the Black Dagger Brotherhood,
you would have been fine.
Taking all of them. That's right. But you're not vicious. So okay, go ahead.
You're not. Mm-hmm. So he goes up the stairs because he's immediately going to go send her that message and like have her tend to him.
As one does.
As one must, frankly.
That's right.
For me, Melody.
Yeah.
So as he's going up the stairs, he sees Dan, ex-boyfriend, wannabe, future again boyfriend, go into her room with champagne. Because he said that he wants to like have a drink later with her and talk about stuff.
Dan
as if
is
there's
so
anything
dumb.
to talk about.
I'm like, Dan, you have done absolutely nothing but show up to get back in her good graces.
Yeah, and
even your excuse for kissing her best friend of all the people in the world, her best friend, and you have such a lame excuse. Like, what was it? Was he drunk or what?
He missed her, and she reminded him of her.
Which wasn't a girl. She's Asian, isn't she? Like, wasn't she?
I mean, she's just a totally different human at the very least.
And she is like, and she's her best friend.
I mean, allegedly.
I'm just going to, she looked nothing like her. So I'm not sure how she reminded me of you came in and I missed you. So again, it's my fault because I'm not here. If I was here, I wouldn't have kissed your best friend.
Never would have happened. Think about that.
Yeah, really fuck champagne. You're getting a kick to the nuts. Like, I was like, you have done absolutely nothing to earn her forgiveness.
Well, especially since he had the audacity to show up wearing that same terrible eyebrow ring. The fuck was that?
And I love a good eyebrow ring. But Dan's
was bad. It was too big. It had those pointy stud like boys on the end.
Like,
I was just
what
like,
are the choices? Like, I know. Like,
you're
dude,
lame ass.
You're already making, like, you're making one bad choice after another.
Yeah. You're a cacophony of bad choices. So he goes and sulks. He's like, oh no, she chose him over me. And he goes to like sulk by the pool and he's like looking in and watching the shadows in her bedroom while putting like a washcloth on his face, question mark.
Like,
what are you doing there?
We need an ice pack.
Yeah.
Don't we?
You need a steak even. Get some peas.
Frozen peas.
Yeah.
Peas and carrots.
Yeah. But just like a wet washcloth.
Washcloth?
That's not going to work.
No, it's not doing nothing.
So, but then he looks out and he's brooding at the moon. And then he hears a behind him. It's true. I'm not lying to you, listener. She does an adorable snore behind him.
Because she's knocked out at the pool, like
with one leg up, please. Knocked
Who
out.
Sleeps like that?
Nobody.
Who sleeps like
Who
that?
Who doesn't sleep drooling into a pillow?
That knee. If I felt like
it would have fallen open.
Gary drives.
What? Tell me everything.
Gary drives me nuts when he does that. And see, this is why I'm talking from personal experience. Gary will go to sleep with like one leg straight out and the other one bent, and it keeps doing this.
Oh.
So by the third one, I'm just like shoving that knee down. He wakes up. Put that fucking leg down. It's like, it's getting on my nerves. It's the equivalent of this.
It is. Yeah. Yes. It's the head nod.
It's the equivalent of
that. I'm sitting
up
but falling asleep head nod.
Yes. It is annoying. So I'm telling you that knee would not be up there that straight.
She would have been vag out.
Yes.
And I would have respected
Spread eagle.
that.
Me too.
Enough with this Disney princess. Knee pointed to the sky, falling asleep. Don't even with me. I know what physics are.
Bitch, put that down.
I'm not gonna listen to this anymore. So he goes over and he's just looking at her. He's gazing down, and like her shirt's a little bit open, and he sees a ginormous scar.
Scar. Yeah, this is the first time we see the scar.
Yeah, and when you know it's love, is when he looks at her and he picks up one of her shirts and he puts it over her because he wants her comfy. He doesn't necessarily have to have her exposed because it's love now. And so
it's the little things. It's the little things.
I mean, honestly, it is. And then she decks him a good one.
Yes, it's so funny.
Yeah, because she thinks he's Dan.
Yes.
But then adorably, she's like, honestly, though, if I would have known it was you, I probably still would have hit you. But then she does a sexy first aid on him, a touchy-feely first aid.
Listen, as soon as he walked in the house looking like that, I was waiting for the moment. Because, I mean, it calls for it. If the hero is busted up, at some point, the heroine needs to, or the hero, whatever the book is, needs to tend.
I require it.
If it doesn't happen, no. I need you to just question your whole life
new
path.
Editor.
I need to, something, because your editor needs to tell you that needs to go in the book.
That's right.
Otherwise, what is the purpose of him getting beat up? Mm-hmm. I don't understand.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So they're making the other one think they're going to go down on him. Yeah. And then they never do. And
I feel cheated.
I'm not a fan.
No, don't tease me.
Yeah.
You're teasing her. No. I'm the one being teased mercilessly here.
Because she's doing a kiss on his torso going down, and he's he's doing the head, back thing. He says.
if this was through my window, we would have seen her tits and his ass by now, like 3 different times. We have only seen the flash of his ass. We have seen nothing else. And I'm like...
I mean, after Through My Window, I was shocked. And shocked
at how little.
Yeah. And during the sex scene later on, spoiler alert, he goes to edge us about whether or not he's going to go down on her, kissing down her tummy.
Yes.
And she has both of her hands over her tits.
I was
like, wow.
Wow.
Okay.
And every time, like, during the sex scene, we're just talking about it. We're going there.
We just have to.
Every time, it's not a spoiler. I mean, we know it's going to happen, so we're not telling you anything you didn't know. Even when they were like, she was under him and in some way her arm hid the boob. Like, there was no flash in that. We saw his ass again, but otherwise...
Nope. She had big boundaries.
That's right. And there was just one in this whole movie.
Yeah. They milked it.
Yeah. Oh, the sexual tension was great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and the sex scene itself was like,
it was great. It was a good payoff.
I mean, the music
us being
alone.
I had to, hey Siri, what song is this?
Yeah, that needs to go on a writing playlist of some sort.
It does.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm sorry. She's tending him. They start making out again, and he's like, we're being bad again, Freckles. I forgot to tell you that he does call her Freckles.
Freckles, that's the new nickname.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That, even though Freckles, baby sis, I think it would have even been hotter once, they've gone there and he still calls her baby sis. But that's me. That says a little something about me, but I don't care what it says.
Again, if it's wrong, I don't want to be right.
That's right. Judge me.
Yeah. So then Noah comes out and he's like, hey, everybody, I'm here to break up the makeout sesh. And they both get up and they're like, oh, nothing to see here.
And he can no longer hide his face. Ew. So that cat's out the bag.
Yeah. And he's like, does your mom suspect any of this? And she goes, if you ever cared about me and if you want my forgiveness, you won't say anything.
He's surprisingly accepting, right?
Yeah.
I expected more of a pushback from Dan.
I did not.
I mean, you did fly across the country. You didn't?
I did not. No.
I expected more of like him to first grovel, which he should have.
Which he didn't.
I expected him to try to fight for her more. And I expected him to be a little angrier about it.
Yeah. So here's the thing about me, is that eyebrow ring told me everything. That eyebrow ring told me that he has bad taste and low standards. That's
a good point.
He understands his station in the world.
Yes, and he's okay with it.
Yeah. He's apparently like, I will take a mediocre, awful eyebrow ring, and that's how he approaches life. He knows when he's bested. Does Dan. Dingus.
Do you have a dove tattoo? I think not, Dan. You went with that awful, awful eyebrow piercing. You didn't even get a knot, Dan.
Yeah.
And you known her longer and you didn't even get a knot. He's known her 5 minutes.
True.
And he got a knot tattoo.
And you know
Phone
what?
it in, Dan.
If he got any knot, it would be like a slip knot with like not attached to anything.
That can come undone with like just a little jerk.
Right. That's Dan.
He's not complicated.
No.
He's not.
Also, every knot is so confusing to him.
He's like, the knot's a knot is our Dan.
May as well be a safe. Oh my God. Okay, so just because they like, sometimes they just flash tropes at us.
Yes.
The next morning, she's getting a schoolgirl uniform hemmed for no kind of reason.
None,
we never
because
see a school.
Did she go to school?
I think
she didn't go to school. I thought it was summertime, so I'm like, why is she getting her uniform hemmed in July?
Because they gotta flash us a trope. It's what they gotta do.
I'm not mad at the trope. You know,
Me neither.
Who doesn't love it?
She looks
right?
hot.
But
I don't know.
Especially when she said, can you make it shorter?
Yeah, go higher. Make the hem higher.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
But it didn't show up again. Like the uniform didn't show up again, and neither did school.
Yeah.
So
No, true. And the best part is that the butler and like the head of the household, cleaning service or whatever, they both cover for them all the time and they see everything that parents don't. It's fantastic.
I'm like, how do they know and you don't as the parent? Because they're just so wrapped up in each other.
Their new relationship, honeymooning.
But yeah, the butler and like the head housekeeper or whatever she is, they are so observant and know what's going on.
And like, the butler especially, Nick's face is all fucked up. And they think he's the perfect son who's like, his gangland activities is behind him.
Behind him, it's in the past. When his father said that later on, it's like, oh, so you knew about these gangland activities?
But the butler comes in and he's like, oh, Master Nick. He doesn't tell him like that, but I just want him to.
He should.
He's like, I cleaned all of the leaves out of the pool area. I'm so sorry that you slipped.
That's right.
And Nick is like, oh, no worries. No worries, my friend. Thank you so much.
And I'm looking at that face like,
did you slip 8 times? Did you bounce?
Did you go down the steps on your face? Like, what? But okay.
That's quite a few blunt force traumas for one trip. I don't know.
But his father wants to believe that's what happened, so he doesn't say anything. Yeah. Even though I'd have been,
good Lord,
man,
we would have been having several talks.
That's right.
He would not have left that couch until there was a narrative that made a semblance of sense.
I'd have had a bulb swing over his naked bulb swinging over his head,
Absolutely. It would have been 89 degrees in that room.
He'd have told me the truth just to get out.
That's what I'm saying. So,
but they're wrapped up.
Yeah, they're toast. And like Nick walks over and he like grabs her hand, and really subtle like. Wow, that took me a while. Real subtle like a spy. And he's like, "Oh, it looks like what's his name didn't say anything." And she's like, "Yeah, I guess not." But then she opens up a threatening note, and then she's like, I have to go, everyone. She won't tell anyone about the threats that are happening.
Why? I don't understand. Why. And if anybody she should have told, it should have been Nick. Yeah. I mean, he knows Ronnie. Yeah. I don't know. Was she afraid he would go after Ronnie? If so, it should have been said. What is your reason for not telling anybody?
Right. Especially because before that, when he gets beaten down and she's doing the touchy-feely first aid on him, he says, Ronnie did this, that man's crazy, and he's after you. You can't go out alone anymore.
That would have been the perfect opportunity.
Yeah. And she says, well, you can't go out alone anymore either. And he says, I'm serious. And she goes, I'm serious too. And he's like, well, then let's not go out alone together. And then she said,
that's when you gotta be like, hold on. 1 + 3 carry to 10, carry to 2.
I'm doing a sentence map in my head. It's fine.
No, I honestly think that's what he said.
I think so. And so she goes, that's not a very romantic way to say that you want to spend more time with me. I'm going to kiss down your torso, but not lick that D.
But
come on. God.
But what's a better way of getting him to spend more time with you and hover over you than telling him about these notes?
Yes. Honestly.
But it's just me, I guess.
Well,
I'm just being precautious.
You're the genius writer. Can't all be that level. Poor Noah. Poor sweet, stupid Noah.
Oh, sweet, sweet summer child.
Okay, so now I thought they were driving to school. Because of that schoolgirl uniform.
The uniform, right? It just threw us off. I thought we were September.
Right.
But no.
They are just picking Anna up. Also, Owen is there. And they make Anna sit in the back seat when she
swear to God, I thought they were going to school because they're picking Anna up and Owen is in the... Aren't we carpooling?
Turns out they're just carpooling to an underground fist fight.
Right.
And fine. But also, how did he get her in that car without telling her their destination?
Where they were going. Because she
Has no idea.
Okay, when did they have the conversation about violence? Was it
They're constantly having conversations about violence.
And what, so like, he didn't think...
she's always like, why do you have to solve everything with violence?
With violence. That's right, because she said it at the first race car drive, the illegal... So I'm like, you don't think it would have been a good idea to tell her that she's going to an underground, no holds barred underground fight?
Yeah.
And what? An underground parking lot?
Yeah. Like a disused overpass?
That's right.
Like, what the fuck?
This never occurred to you? I'm like, maybe he thought once he fingered her to compliance, she wouldn't be mad.
I mean, and not a terrible strategy.
It's not the worst kind of persuasion. Okay, well, we got to talk about that because that's where one of my favorite lines of the movie happened.
Oh my God. And don't worry, Naima.
You got the whole thing written, don't you?
Of course. For you, anything. So they get to this place, and like as they get out of the car, Anna's fucking pissed because they had words in the car. It's whatever.
Yes, catty words.
Yeah. She hands him a tiny red car, and she goes, I owed you a car after all. And he is so taken with her that he smiles real big, and he's like, oh, it's perfect.
I'm like, okay.
Into it. So then he pulls her by the hand behind a pillar.
And I'm like, that's when I texted you and said, like, my stealth game is much better. Because literally, it's just the pillar, and it's not like people can't come drive up and see you, what you're doing, walk around the fucking thing and see what you're doing. Because you've disappeared from your group. Like, you don't... It's out in the open. The pillar is only hiding you from somebody's direct vision who's on the other side of the damn pillar.
Yeah.
But, okay, they went invisible. It's like the invisibility cloak in Harry Potter. It's that's like what the pillar was. So I went with it.
You know what, listener? It's maybe more than that, because Naima's stealth game is certainly better than these two's.
It is.
But
it is.
My stealth game is bigger than these two's even.
That's saying something.
Like, I was famously peeped by a stranger having sex on a beach once. The stealth game's not great over here.
And yours is better. Like, I can't.
Yeah, no, and I got these two beat, is all I'm saying.
Oh, God.
So,
yeah, that's a low bar.
Okay, so then he gets her up against that pillar, and he's talking about Owen, who they do erroneously call Mario, and
get it straight.
Yeah, and he says, what does that guy want from you? And she's like, oh, I don't know. All I know is that every time I look at him, he smiles. And then he says, he doesn't have any blood in his veins. He can't give you what you need. This is verbatim. This isn't Melody fanfic.
I know. That's why I'm smiling. No, this is not her paraphrasing.
Nope. And so then she says, what is it that I need?
Oh, hold it. Listeners, I need you. Silence, please.
Pull over if you need to.
That's right. Stop everything.
So then we get a close-up of her thigh and his jeans, and he starts sliding a hand up her dress and then going towards the front a bit as they're like open mouth panting into each other's mouths.
Yes, which was hot. It was hot. Yes, because it's almost a kiss. I love that. Almost a kiss, but you're like tasting each other's breath, and thank God, hopefully it's all good.
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be, because you don't move. No. And I need it to be, in fantasy, it has to be. Yes. Like, it tastes like peppermint and gum.
Delicious.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so then he starts saying, you don't need kisses. You need volcanic eruptions in your mouth. Listener, when I tell you the deranged text messages I got from Naima, including like swooning gifts, when this part happened, oh my God.
I just text the first thing, Melody. Dot.
This man just said.
Is that code for fellatio?
It's gotta be.
And you was like, it has to be a beach.
That's gotta be a beach.
Volcanic eruptions in your mouth.
Wow. Wow, sir.
Never heard that one before.
Wow, sir.
Never. Yes.
That translation is lit.
I can't wait till I get to that part. And when I get to that part, I'm going to let you know if he actually said that.
Yes, please. Mercedes, please have done this for us.
Oh, my God.
God damn. Okay. But then he says, you don't need gentle caresses, but hands that claw to you enough to make you shiver. I rewinded that 3 times. Rewound it 3 times just to be sure
That's what he said.
that it was, in fact, hands that claw to you enough to make you shiver.
Yes, that's what he said.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Then he says, whispered breaths that make you feel faint. And now we get a shot of him doing a big dirty DJ.
That's right.
On her.
That's right.
He's doing that roundabout on that clitoris. Oh, boy. And then he says, one of the most baffling things I've ever heard in my life.
Go for it. Go for it.
He says, you don't need pleasure. You need trembling.
I'm like,
what?
What?
And like the captions didn't help me either because the direct translation is, you don't need pleasure, you need shivers.
Like he already said that.
So like same difference.
Yeah, but I'm like, no, give me pleasure.
But also, why would I tremble if I'm not having pleasures?
Right.
Well, I don't want to tremble for other reasons.
But I don't want to trade one for the other either. Like, you know.
Yeah, totally. You know why I love this, though? Is that, like, sometimes dirty talk just doesn't make any sense.
No, like.
It can't. You're just in the moment. Shit's coming out of your mouth.
Saying whatever the hell's coming to your head.
Like, the overall gist is the message that your partner gets. Really?
She got that message. Oh. I didn't get that last one.
Because we weren't getting dirty DJ'd.
That's true. Maybe if I was, then
he wasn't breathing into my mouth.
A, I wouldn't care, or 2, it would make the translation is different when there's a hand in my vagina. You know, so the translation is probably different when I hear it.
Yeah.
So I'm giving grace.
Same with all girls have ordinary lips. An empty gaze and a neck.
That's
you know, just
that old neck.
Oh,
that old
wisest words.
I'm telling you, like the translation has to be because some of the shit makes zero sense.
I loved it. I will not have it any other way. I loved it.
I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna take a screenshot.
Send me pictures of the thing. If you can highlight it, you know, it would not go amiss. Is all I'm saying.
I got you.
So
I got you.
Just as she's about to climax, Jenna and Lion come up.
And
they're like,
whoa.
Vroom, vroom, we're here now. We didn't see anything.
That's right.
And Lion goes, isn't that incest? Because he's a sweet, sweet dummy. But also, it's cultural incest.
Exactly, because everybody else is going to think it too, which is one of the hot things about the step sibling. It's one of the conflicts, right? Which makes the sex hotter.
Yeah, and to be fair, people have literally heard him call her baby sis.
Call her baby sis, right.
So it's confusing.
It's a legit question. Really. You know, other people don't think it.
Yeah. So then Jenna says, after being beaten up and what you were doing to him, he's not going to have strength to fight. And then there's a big pause, and she goes, fight?
Fight? You mean we're not here to race around this underground parking lot?
Wait a second. We're not going to just paint this disused underpass? I brought my paintbrushes. No, it's fighting times. Oh, no.
Yeah.
So she goes up to him. She's like, you don't need to do this. Why do you always solve everything with violence? Why are you always so violent? Does it excite you to get hurt?
So dramatic.
And he's like, no, I just really like to fight.
I'm just here to throw fists.
Oh, so you get pleasure out of hurting people? And he's like, no, again, I just sort of get a rush from fighting.
It's a steam blower,
yeah,
you know.
I blow off steam with it, is what he says, which is notable later. And then she's like, well, I'm never going to understand it. And then she huffs off into the crowd and like, you know, they do a fight or whatever. And she, in the middle of it, fucks off.
Yeah, with Owen.
And Owen follows her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so Owen is like, thank you so much for bringing me here with you today. It made me so very happy.
To the underground brawl. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then sweet Owen doesn't have the best game with this one. And he does just like bend at the waist so that so that he can closed mouth maul her lips.
I just. Now we know why you got that bowl cut.
He's so
Owen.
cute. It doesn't last very long because Nick has won the fight.
Yes.
And so he comes careening over and throws Owen to the ground.
Right, like Owen is zero threat. Like that was kind of unnecessary because the dude has a bowl haircut and no muscles to speak of.
And he's the sweetest sweetie pants who's ever been
really
sweet.
Is.
And he's just like, nope. I thought maybe there was something going on. It's fine. I'm going to fuck off and I'm going to walk home. No hard feelings, everyone.
Mainly because I just saw you beat down like a dude that's twice your size in it. So I know when I've been beaten like figuratively and literally.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be an idiot.
No. Mm-mm.
So then she's like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? What gives you the right? And he says, I don't know. It's never been like this with anyone. I just can't control myself around you. I've never been jealous of anyone. And she's like, oh, so that's all you can offer me? That and violence?
If we had a shot for every time she said
violence,
we'd be fucked up.
Truly. And then she goes, nothing can happen between us ever again. And he's like, what? Why? And he does a big man grab on her.
Yes.
And
dude, read the room again.
Yeah.
People just need to read the room in this movie.
I know. And so she says, can't you see? I'm afraid of you.
That was like a gut punch.
Oh, it takes the wind out of every sail he's ever seen in his life.
Yes.
Nevertheless owned.
And have you seen that house? He's seen and owned a lot.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
He's got a fleet.
So,
and so then now there's a montage of them being apart.
Yes.
He's running. He's turning 22. She's putting Post-its on a car.
Did you understand why?
I figured it out the second time through.
Okay, explain it to me because I didn't get that.
It was one vague line while they were in the pool at the party later. She says, it's a pimp my ride party, but it's indoors because you're supposed to come with like a blinged out car in some way.
Oh.
And so she blings her car with Post-its. And it's honestly adorable.
Because the butler thought so.
The butler, the gardener. The guy whose only job is to change all the light bulbs in the mansion. He was helping.
And because I like the scene. I just didn't get why the Post-its were on the car.
No, I know.
Okay, makes sense now. That makes it even cuter.
It is really cute.
Okay, yeah.
So then, he's just trying to live without her. And it's tough.
Because they're in the same house, literally like down the hall from each other.
Absolutely. So then his dad is like, apropos of nothing, Nick, I need to tell you about her father. And Nick's like, you mean the dead one? Because that's what she's been telling everyone. And he's like, no.
Why did he say that? Like, it was just random, right? Or did I miss it? Like,
no, I think he sort of got around to it at the end, but he was like, her father isn't dead. He was sent to prison, and he has a big grudge against her because her teeny tiny preteen testimony is what got him put in jail.
It was the only evidence ever. It wasn't that you tried to kill her. No,
for sure not.
No, because he's the reason for the scar. He stabbed her. He tried to kill her.
He stabbed her in a closet. But terrible.
None of that. Like, no, it was just her testimony that. If not for her, there wouldn't have been any case. Quite.
Right. It wasn't the witnesses. It wasn't the physical evidence.
The DNA. Nah. No, nothing like that. Nah. Mm-mm. Police reports. Nah.
So then he's like, and he's got a grudge against her, and he got out 2 weeks ago, and Rafaela's really afraid that he's going to come after what's her name. And so then he's like, well.
Big foreshadowing. Big.
Yeah. He's like, have you told what's her name? And they're like, no, we don't want to worry her.
Nobody talks in this movie. Nobody communicates.
Yeah.
Shouldn't she know to be on guard?
shouldn't she know not to lose her driver on purpose? Shouldn't she know why they have hired a security team for her?
Ignorance is not bliss here.
No. And what they should have done is hire a security team for her.
Yes. Bodyguard at the very least.
Yeah. What they did instead was, Nick, why don't you just
stay close?
Yeah. Because we can trust you.
I mean, he didn't just come in beat up, but tripped in the pool.
Yeah,
So he can take a lick and keep on ticking.
You and your clumsy ass are the perfect man for this job.
You are the main line between her and disaster.
Oh my God.
Makes sense.
Nuts.
Because we're on a budget here.
Yes.
We spent the last of, this month's funds on whitewashing the columns of the palace.
Absolutely. I had to give the guy who changes all the light bulbs a raise.
Right. So no budget for security.
Yeah, sure not.
We're going to need you, Nick. Thanks for stepping up here, dude.
That's right.
Love you, son.
You asked for more responsibility.
That's right. Here you go.
This is it.
Here you go. And this on top of all that law school shit.
Yes. All of those late night paperworks that you do.
That's right. Keep it up.
Great stuff.
Keep it up, guy.
Great stuff, Nick. So now she's at a party with Jenna and they're playing beer pong. And I just need everyone in the world to know that the other day, my beer pong experience from college did pay off.
Wait. And they say those experiences don't carry through to real life.
That's what I'm saying. I learned things in college that I use today, okay? Because we were at a fair and this pet store was doing like a, throw a thing into a cup and you win a fish or whatever. And boy, did I just bullseye one of those. Won my kid a fucking fish. Ugh. Oh, I was swaggering after that.
On fire were we?
Oh, yeah. I was like, those out-of-state tuitions were worth it.
Man, those out-of-state tuition fees.
Oh, worth
Came
it.
Came through.
Oh, my God.
Come through, beer pong.
Uh-huh. And they talk about when a guy should tell you they love you. It shouldn't be before sex. It should be after sex.
Yes.
How do you feel about this, romance writer?
I thought that reasoning was flawed.
Me too, right?
I just shit, he's just going to tell you after he loves you after sex to get it again. I don't
Yeah, or I love you could really be code for I loved that.
Yes. I love that. I love that.
What are you talking? I mean, they were drunk and they are 17. I can't.
Yeah, because I'm
much.
That made zero sense.
Mm-hmm.
That made zero sense. Because either you're gonna give it to him or you not.
Yeah.
And I love you is not really. I don't know. For some people, it might tip the tables in his favor, but
most of the time, it makes me get dressed real quick.
Because
we're not. That's not what this is.
That's weird.
Unless this is absolutely what this is. This is not at all what this is.
No, it's this is, you got the wrong girl for that.
No.
I mean, I'm like Pretty Woman. I'm an easy deal. I'm a sure thing. You was going to get it anyway. There's no need to pull that out.
Please don't talk me into it. No.
You ruined it. Yeah. Stop talking.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So now we find out that smoking Stubble Man, I was going to say sweaty Stubble Man because I am sweating and it's all I can think about. I think I literally see drip marks on the ground.
You are not sweating, you are glistening. You're glistening.
That's kind of you. The literal drip marks on the ground do disagree. Frankly,
is it the outline of a dead body, the chalk outline?
Just about. Wherever my elbows are, because I've got my hands on my hips, are where there are drip marks on the ground below me. It's like I've been in a spin class for an hour and a half.
You're going to come out there why do I feel lighter?
Oh, seriously. Oh my God. This is
who needs a plastic garbage bag and a run?
I don't need a sauna anymore.
Anyway. That's right. Just keep recording episodes.
So then He takes her home. Listen, she gets locked in a closet and she has like a PTS
By
hallucination.
Anna.
Yeah, Anna is
playing being a mean girl.
Yeah.
Pulled a mean girl joke and locked her. And she was drunk too, so I think that made it worse. And
Absolutely.
she has like this whole traumatic experience flashback to her childhood.
Yeah. And
which we can gather her father did it.
Right. And for good reason, because this is the first time we're seeing smoking Stubble Man, his whole face, and he's out in the car, and he does match her dad's photo, and he does look menacing. He
does. Like
he's come to get her.
Her mom did a real upgrade. Like, because he looked ominous.
These people don't seem like they're from the same planet.
No, not at all. And I wanted to know, how the hell did her mother meet her stepdad in the first, like, where would your worlds cross? Like your paths cross?
Was she his secretary?
That would be another trope that just would, let's throw it into the pot of tropes.
Agreed.
Like employee. Like, it fits. Like, it fits this whole movie. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Maybe
she should have added that.
Maybe she was working at a men's clothing store.
Club. Or the country club. And she was like the server.
Yes, at a country club. And he could see past all of that poverty.
Wait. Underneath the scent of poverty, he smelled her. And it was unique.
Oh, it was a musk he liked. Yeah, any of those are possible.
Yeah. That's how we're drunk, because we have a plethora of tropes in it. What's one more? Let's just lob it in there.
That's just joy.
It really
frankly
is. She's given us a joy-filled variety of like tropes in this book. I think throwing one more in there is just going to make it even better, make it more joy-filled.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So you're welcome, Mercedes. We hooked you up with that one.
That's right. If you want to write a prequel, we will not say no.
Hit us up.
Yeah. So then he gets home and he takes her home. She was wearing a dress and a bikini. And so we see her naked back in bed and him squeezing out a bikini onto a bedroom floor.
Did we notice she got wet?
Yeah, she was in a pool.
Oh, okay. But is it still like that wet?
Probably not. Like no water came out, which I guess is the only way it makes it acceptable to wring something out onto a bedroom floor.
Because at this point, it was like, yeah, you're rich.
Yeah.
Because, you're obviously rich. Because.
So then he's about to leave. And then she's like, no, Nick, please don't leave. And he's like, yeah, okay, totally. Shirt comes off, lay down. Here now. Oh my God.
Because you asked. You're not half asleep and don't know what you're talking about. I'm fully lucid. That's what you are. So let me scoot on in here. And what I'm going to do is set my alarm at 5:00 so I can get up and go back to my room before I'm caught.
Yes.
But he said, I'm going to set my alarm at...
But first, he had to do a big romance at her. Because she goes, why can't I stay mad at you? And she like looks over her shoulder at him within kissing, smooching distance.
Yes.
And then he says, I want to do all the things to you.
Things.
But I'm not.
I was like.
But we're not going to do that until the fear has vanished from your eyes. And she says, you're very sweet. Good job. And she pats him. And then she goes to sleep. Oh my God. I want you so bad. Until that fear's gone.
That was great.
In the morning, the dad is trying to find him, and he busts into Noah's room, which I feel like is a stepdad no.
No, right.
You do send that mom in there.
Yes. At the very least, you knock
for
and
sure.
Wait sort of say, come in, but no, we just busted up in there.
Yeah. And he's like, Noah, have you seen... Because
dun, dun, dun.
Oh my! Because also he has the sheet up, so you can't see that he has his pants on.
Right. It's just all you see is bare chest.
Yeah.
We're not complaining, but the father might.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because she comes up, with it covering her tits.
Right.
And it's just like, come on, man. You guys are the worst.
It's just a bad look. It's a bad look. Like, dude, like I said, the stealth factor was just
laughable.
Nil.
It was it's circus stuff.
Yeah.
So he's like, your baby sister who does have type 1 diabetes is in the hospital. And so you should go right now. And he's like, no, not Maggie. And so she goes with him.
Yes.
They do a very sweet scene with the baby sister.
It is sweet because she knew who Noah was too.
And they like rib each other about how they used to hate each other, but now they've gotten to know one another a little bit.
Yeah. Know one another.
Not quite biblically, but we'll get there.
No. Yeah, but his fingers are,
So then they're driving home. It's nighttime now, all of a sudden.
And they were in the hospital a long time.
Maggie was hilarious.
Where's her mother?
I mean, that's what he says to the doctor, right? She's like, I'm so glad the nurse was there when this terrible thing happened.
Yeah, right, because the mother is nowhere to be found. Like, who's raising this child?
The nurse. And it's because she's, I mean, I feel like the clear message there is that the mom is like abandoning the kid like she abandoned him.
She did, yeah.
You know,
right.
That's what his baggage is or whatever.
I'm like, so, dude, maybe you shouldn't take it personally because she did it
Yeah.
And who could abandon Maggie? Like,
not this guy, that's for sure.
I know. She's so cute. So I'm like, maybe you shouldn't just take it personally.
No. So then they're on the drive home. And he says, we're just about to get to the house. And then she puts her hand on his hand on the knobber changer steering. Nope. The clutch master. The gear shifter. Jesus.
The knobber changer. You know who you sound like? Earlier with the finger dinger and the knobber changer, you sound like what the seagull from The Little Mermaid.
Is that the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me? I think maybe. Yeah.
He was the who splat. Exactly if you remind me with that. Okay, I'm back.
So as she puts her hand on his hand, he has to do a big swerve onto a lookout point. On a beachy lookout point.
Conveniently near.
Yes. And then she says, what, am I going to get thrown out again? And he undoes his buckle and he goes in for that kiss. Oh, they smooch hard.
Swoops in for it. And it's like, I think we're going to get sex.
And so he says, all of this is my fault. Like, there's music swelling in the background.
Yes, it's a whole orchestra moment in the background, but it's great music. Yeah. It is.
He says, all of this is my fault.
Setting the mood.
It hurts so much that you're afraid of me. And then if I had known about your dad sooner. And then there's like a ... that happens. And she says, they caught us already. So all of these apologies, don't really mean anything. It's moot. And then he says, no, if these were our last kisses, I couldn't bear it. And then she says, trust me, our kisses are eternal.
Eternal. I'm like, if cringe is here and awe is here, I'm smack in the middle.
I'm conflicted, is where I am.
I really am. I'm like, right here, because I'm doing this, but I'm like...
Yep. Because he says, like, if loving each other is wrong, then we're the guiltiest people. We're so guilty. And she's like, no, my mom has such a good thing with your dad. I can't mess it up for her. It's the first good thing she's had in her life. And it's a whole thing. So then she pulls back and she's like, if this is going to be our last, we might as well make it a first, too.
Right.
And he does a big smile at her. And suddenly they're out on this volcanic sand.
It's amazing. It's like they were like beamed there.
Yeah. It was also very concernicus for me.
Because I'm like, it's not it didn't look like the most comfortable surface to be. Was it sand? What?
They went just ass down. on this like coarse sand. Not a blanket in sight. They didn't put their clothes down.
No underarm or...
No.
I'm like, the grit factor here.
And the creases.
I'll be like this.
The creases it's going to get in.
The many creases and nooks and crannies.
And they're like naked sauce.
Like naked. Like Adam and Eve naked.
Yeah, they've never seen a fig tree in their life, though.
Rib of my rib.
Honestly. It's bananas. So they're kissing on each other, and it's a whole thing. And then...
It's a very sweet and sensual love scene. Yeah. I will say that. It was romantic.
And great music,
like,
again.
The music did its work. Like, it was great.
I was pitter-pattering over here.
Yes. The scene was a great payoff for all of that sexual tension up until this point.
Most definitely. Yeah. It wasn't like as primal as 365 Dinner, but it was still really good.
Yeah, it was age appropriate. Yes. Was it though?
Kinda.
If she was in
like 4 months, it'll be age appropriate.
Yeah, right. When she's 18.
I don't know.
Let me take that back. Let me roll that back. She hadn't been kidnapped, so.
Yeah, so then my actual note is, and then they fuck on the open sand like absolute maniacs. How is that comfortable? The music is great, though, is my next note.
I just went with it's fiction, so.
No, it's fine. No, when he rolled her from her back on that sand into like a sitting straddle position with him sitting too, and there was not a speck on her back.
Or his.
Or anybody's.
There was nothing. Because you know what I was expecting, like, through my window. Remember, we were trying to figure out what that was on their backs. Yes! So I'm like, no sand, no nothing.
Not a speck. They're just luminous in the moonlight.
Yes.
Ridiculous.
It was pretty.
Absolutely.
But not very realistic, but it was pretty.
Yeah, movie magic, frankly.
It really was. It was a good scene. It was.
So then in the morning, they're like doing a cutesy get to know each other even more and like frolicking on the beach and stuff.
But nobody's concerned that you've been out all night and you're not worried that your mother's going to rip your ass a new one.
Those lovebirds are so wrapped up in each other. You know what I mean? I don't know that they notice anything.
But after he done busted in on them together, I'm like, now they're like, looking to see if they're together.
Maybe.
Like, and then both of you stay out together all night. I'm just thinking, if not for what comes next.
Their asses would have been torn up.
In a sling. Yeah. Thank God for a little thing like a kidnapping.
Honestly. So she's doing a cutesy little, let's take your shirt off and do it again. And he says, you're so bad. I'm out of condoms.
Always worried about her protection.
I like it. Nick. That's great.
Yes.
And so then they get in that car and they go to the nearest gas station they possibly can.
Probably to get condoms.
He went in to get condoms. Yes. And
did he really?
What?
I thought he was getting like food or something. He went in there for condoms.
He pops condoms right on that counter.
I missed
And then
it.
during that whole scene when like she's texting him like I'm still on fire or whatever. He looks at the guy, the cashier, who says like his first card was denied for some kind of reason. I
was like, oh, is this the father cutting him off?
Me too.
That's what I thought.
So then he hands him the next card, and he's like, "My guy, like, please, I gotta get back to her, cause like condoms and stuff." And the guy's like, "Oh yeah, cool, yeah, I'll make this happen for you."
Fuck that limit.
Yeah, these are on the house, my friend. That's just the rules.
The first one is on the house.
That's right. Right. So then, as this is happening, she gets big kidnapped out of his SUV.
And I'm like, look to the side.
She turns
he did
those
look out the window
hazards
at one point, and he doesn't get it.
No, he thinks that she's being like, hurry up, my vagina's empty. Oh no, it's hazard out here.
And I'm like, dude, it's a real emergency. And I'm not talking about her vagina on fire. I'm talking about a real emergency. And he just sees it and just...
He's like, oh, look at that.
And then goes back.
She wants me so bad.
See why she wants me real bad.
So she gets got. And he immediately runs out and then runs home and is like, it is emergency. And then they get the footage from the gas station, lickety-split.
See that it's Ronnie.
Yeah.
And because that's how his father knows that he still hasn't given up his old ways, because he recognizes Ronnie off the bat.
Yep.
And his father is very disappointed and angry. And and her mother blames him. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, so it didn't have anything to do with you marrying him? Having a baby.
Maybe somebody coming out of your past? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Nick didn't bring him here. I'm just saying. To be fair,
that would have been like the last thing on my mind. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. Like, she's kidnapped by gangsters.
And like a young guy. Like a young one. And like, how would they know each other? Whatever. We find out later they were in prison together for a minute.
Yes.
And so then, like, Smokey Stubble Man comes out of the shadows and she's locked to a radiator.
Yes.
And he's like, you ruined everything. I think maybe by existing.
Right.
And that's why I'm not rally driver.
I was at the top of my game.
And then violence ensued or something.
Yeah.
It's hard to follow, but it's fine. So then he calls them and he's like, I want $1 million. You're going to take it to this statue in a park. It's going to be great.
Personally, I think he was lowballing it, but...
Absolutely.
Yeah, I thought, just one?
Come on.
Have you seen that house?
Yeah. That's like 1% of one bank account.
Right. I was like, you're lowballing it, my guy.
He's got way more than that liquid. Come on.
Yes, but okay. You're in a rush.
And then later on, so they're standing by the statue. And she goes, he's not going to. Oh, he has rigged that statue with a tiny camera.
With a camera.
That has audio. That was wild.
I was like,
I was into
does
it.
Does the FBI have that?
Yeah, I was into it, but it was wild.
Okay. When he was in prison, he got the hookup with technology that obviously the Spain version of the FBI does not have.
Absolutely. No.
Because I've never seen one that captures audio either.
Yeah.
But, I mean, but okay.
Yeah.
It works.
And
it works for the plot.
Clear.
Even though there were, like, people milling about.
It's basically a podcast. Yeah. So she is like, I don't think he's going to show up. And the stepdad's like, why? Why would you ever say that? And she's like, because he's never cared about money. All he's ever cared about is making me and Noah suffer. And sure enough, he's back at the warehouse being like, mustache twirl.
Yes.
So then, what's his nuts? Nick shows up, and a real surly cop lady gets in with him, and she's like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like,
"I'm like, how do they know each other? I felt like they knew each other, or they got close really fast.
Yeah, like all of a sudden, she trusted him like a colleague
to drive. Yes, like." Usually you tell a family member to stay out of it, not get involved because they're too emotionally involved.
You know what? Here's the thing though, Naima. She went in with that intention, but then she saw the value of his cock stand homing beacon. And she says, this is the only way that we're going to find this girl.
That makes sense. It makes sense.
So it turns out he's still paying the insurance on the vroom vroom car that he gave to what's his nuts?
Right.
To Ronnie?
Why?
Because rich and
Did
forgot?
You not get around? Not only am I not that rich, I don't want to be that rich.
No. That's nonsense.
A true story. Like with Kevin, like with my son, I'm looking at him like, and I done pushed him out, right? But still, I'm looking at him like, when you gonna pay your insurance? Like your own insurance. And you're randomly paying for the rival gang leader's insurance on that car. And given it's $100,000 car, the insurance must be like, wow.
Yikes.
That's not like something, unless you're just that damn rich. Like you said, the 0.5% that you don't notice that coming. I don't want to be that rich.
No.
I got things to do with that kind of money.
I got to keep my 2 feet on the ground.
That's right.
That's what I have to do.
Right. The whole fucking body. Like, I got to keep it.
Good Lord.
But for the sake of the movie, because he's still paying insurance, it's some kind of GPS.
Yeah, he can access a tracker beam.
A chip.
that does an insurance times. And so they find out where it is. And everybody, they're like, breaker, breaker, every police officer and everybody else.
Me and Autumn at the same time, because Autumn's in the room with me by it. And when she tells them, like tells the people over the microphone, and at the same time, her mother and stepfather go,
yeah.
I was like, what?
In what world?
In what world?
In what fantasy fucking land?
Was like, why did they do that? I was like, I have no clue why they just did
Good
that.
Lord.
Both.
Yeah.
She has all, and then say out loud.
They know where they are.
They couldn't know that he was listening. But he listened to them because they're like, they found them. They found them.
So Nick goes vrooming off. And then when they get to the garage or whatever, there's a break through the garage wall.
Yes.
It's a red sporty vroom.
Yes.
She's driving. He's a passenger with a gun on her.
Right.
And he's like, we're going now. You're going to get me out of here. This is why I taught you to drive. None of us knew it at the time.
No, because I just had a premonition that one day I would need you to be my getaway driver.
That's the one.
Like, yes. That's the whole point. Not quality time.
Yeah. So it's a big car chase. And it's hot.
Big car chase. It was a good car chase, too.
Yeah.
It was like Fast and Furious worthy car chase.
Absolutely.
Yeah. She was driving the hell out of that car. And here's where he's saying to her while she's driving, like, if not for you, I'd have been this
best racer
this
in the
champion.
world.
That's right. But you ruined it. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Not your choices.
Sure, Jan.
Yeah.
So so she drives down the end of a pier.
Right.
Because it's a tiny vroom sporty car.
Yeah. It's the size of that matchbox that she gave her.
Just about. Gets down to the end of the pier and she does a twisty turn, one of those ones.
For a minute there, I thought she was going to go into the water and like swim up.
I thought she was doing the same thing. She wasn't. So then he gets onto the land side of that giant pier. And then they make eye contact from no less than a football field away from each other.
I said the same
football field away. God. 2 windshields. Bright afternoon light on both of them. They can see those eyeballs.
I said the same thing. Like they have that kind of connection.
Mm-hmm. And then she just nods.
They also have like telepathy.
Yeah.
Because they knew what the other was thinking.
And they nodded.
Yes, they nodded.
And then it was vroom on both sides. And they
just like they're coming at each other.
They're
and
playing
then they
chicken.
Do that
and the dad's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yes.
And they do a handbrake, they do a 20 degree, and then they do a 60 degree in the other direction, and both of them, and they go shoo.
It was cool, though.
They do like a Matrix car thing.
I didn't know the pier was that big.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't that wide, but suddenly it was.
And then, in the slow motion, as they've got both of their windows beside each other, she and he hit the deck, they put their heads all the way down.
Duck.
So that the lady officer can shoot him in the face 3 times.
Yes.
And it's over.
I don't know how the car was there that long to shoot it 3 times.
It's
but
hero time.
Semantics. Yes. Yeah. And apparently, I'm just guessing at some point, Nick told her what was going to happen because she knew to do it. So, or maybe she just saw the same movie. I don't know. But she knew, took out the bad guy. Personally, I thought it was great that she took, like, the woman cop took out the bad guy. And then they come to this screeching, beautiful halt. Mm. So, suck it, Dad. Because he did not give up his gangland ways, him and her saved the day.
That's right.
So,
it's true. And, like, that's sort of how the parents feel at the end. They're like, wow, if you didn't love her so much, she probably would be dead, I guess.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess there's worse things than your genitals mashing together.
And ruining our potential marriage, and getting talked about in society and flayed. But hey,
should we double date?
You're alive. That's just right.
What are the rules
Go to the country club for sugar table.
Do we like?
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Yeah.
So they're together forever now, I guess, and they're a happy family.
Or are they? Because remember at the end, like the show The Morning where him and Noah and Nick are in bed, like together. But then across the way is her mother and her stepfather. And the mother says in a really ominous, almost scary,
terrified,
evil stepmother way, we're going to have to break them up or something like that. She's like,
we have to
this
put
has got to end to this. Right. Yeah. And then it ends. And I'm like, part two,
but like the parents are the baddies?
Yes. We didn't see this coming, especially the mother.
No.
I think I would have seen it more from the father.
She's so meek and mild.
Yes, but the father is the one with all the clout, all the money, all the social standing, and everything to lose. You're new to this. You don't. The rich wives haven't even accepted you into their club yet.
Right.
But I guess so I didn't see her being the bad guy, like the ominous one here. They got to end this, but I like the twist.
Yeah.
Because frankly, this is how I see it. She's like, after all those years of suffering and poverty, I now have this fantastic, hot, rich, beyond Midas husband. You're not going to fuck it up for me. That's what I'm saying. That's what I can see.
And like, I respect that.
I do, ma'am. I find no fault. Did it come across as I was judging? Because I find no fault.
Right.
I find zero fault in that. Shit.
Oh my God.
So it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. Obviously, I did. I bought the book.
I loved it.
5 minutes later.
I loved it.
I really did.
So
I enjoyed it.
It was so fun.
It was fun. It really was.
Yeah.
So thank you, Julia.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know us, Julia.
You're a good friend.
Oh, that's really.
Truly.
Good friends don't hide gems this from their friends, and you did not.
Yeah. You came through. Okay, so I have a lady love regarding some of the jokes we made earlier. And that is a TikToker. I'm sure everybody already knows about him because I'm always the last one to know about every trend, especially when it's on TikTok.
Not me. Huh. I'm right behind you.
So his name is @ShabazSays, and he is apparently like a teacher by day, but a hilarious TikToker by night. And wait,
is he a kindergarten teacher?
I don't know.
He looks like Ken. Does he look like a Ken doll? He's got like blonde hair, short blonde. Okay, all right. So we're not talking about the same one. Okay, I think his name is William Sparks. Okay, yeah. Okay, we're not talking about the same one.
No, he does this hilarious thing where he'll like wear hooded onesies and like be on a pillow. No. And then he does duetted videos with like ridiculous rich people. And he'll just narrate the whole thing as if he is the rich person. @Shabazz, so SHABAZSAYS.
Okay, all right, I gotta go check him out.
And he's got an English accent, and so it'll be
that
like
makes it even better.
It'll be like ridiculous rich people who are like, "Let me give you a tour of my ice drawer," and it's like ice that has kiwis in it, round boys, ice that has strawberries in it, chocolate ice. Coffee ice, like all this bullshit. And like, they're proud of this somehow.
Yeah.
There was one he did where like a guy bragged about like buying $2,000 worth of bottled water, like expensive bottled water for his water fridge. And I'm just like, everyone can go fuck themselves.
For that much.
Does it give you a rim job?
That's
because
I do need a happily ever after for $2,000 worth of
water.
What does it do to me? Like, can I walk on it? Because for that much, I need to walk on it.
Have you ever heard about Brita?
What's that other one? Dancing or whatever. Sure. It's like you can get that at Walmart.
Yeah. Anyway, so he's
a lot cheaper.
He's so great. So he'll lay there and he'll be like, "Welcome to my home. I'm gonna show you around and." You're never going to see a purse like this because you're a pavo. And it's so funny. It's so funny.
I'm about to go.
All of them are amazing. It did give me a very dark look into what the 1% are like, though.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, wow, that money could be doing so much.
So much. Like, what I could do with that money. Like, I mean, what you could do with that money that you're spending on ridiculous shit.
The amount of, like, I don't know, student loans you could pay for people.
Yes.
Or the amount of fucking people you could feed.
She could wipe out my son's student loans, like, with one thing that you spend on a purse.
Absolutely.
Apparently. Or water.
Yeah.
Like 10 cases of water.
Insane. So anyway, at Shabazz Says, that's my lady love, because sometimes I will accidentally spend like 40 minutes just watching his videos.
I'm about to go watch
so
it.
good.
Like, I'm about to go watch it.
All right, Naima. Keep being a badass.
If we're going to keep it badass, can I talk about the book I just finished?
Yes.
I am so in deep, deep love. That's not even a strong word. Is this your lady love?
Yes, it is.
It is. It is. Okay. Like, this, I'm afraid to write after reading this because I'm like, nothing I write will measure up. Seriously, it's that fucking good. It's In the Gray by B.B. Reed. I'm in such a book hangover because I've tried picking up other things after that, and that book is so freaking good. It has the best anti-hero I've ever read. He's unapologetically like, there's not even a morally gray. Like, he's fully in the black. Ooh. Like, right? And the heroine is so badass in her own way because she doesn't take his shit, right? Nice. Even though she is afraid of him sometimes because dude is psycho. Mm-hmm. But and it has a mystery, and it has like a paternity mystery in it. And because I can't even explain, like, In the Gray, B.B. Reed. It's a dark romance. It's super hot.
Wow.
But it's one of like and I love dark romance. Love, love, love. But the best ones still like have all the emotion in it. And this totally did. It had like complicated dynamics between not just the hero and the heroine, but the secondary characters. It had, oh God, I'm just so in love with the hero because he's so bad. He's just like, one of the lines is he's the worst man I've ever had. And he is, like, he's bad, but he's so good.
Nice.
Like, he's so good. Like, with her, oh my God.
Nice.
In the Gray by B.B. Reed. I have no words. Like, I even wrote a post. I was like, I'm left with no vocab.
Oh my God.
I can't even,
that's exciting.
I'm going to reread it. I am. I'm so excited. Like, you know, when you read a book and it's like, how is this shit this good? How? And it is. Right. It is. And I'm dying for the second book to come out. I'm dying. So, In the Gray by B.B. Reed. If you love dark romance, or if you don't like dark romance, but you're still willing to give it a try, do this one.
Yep.
It has trigger warnings in it, of course.
All right, so I think the sign-off has to be keep being a badass and love yourself as much as Naima loves Morally Gray by B.B. Reed.
No, it's In the Gray. It's In the Gray.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's a morally gray character. All of them. I don't know any of them. Maybe her mother is the only one that isn't, but all of them.
I love it.
So In the Gray by B.B. Reed.
Awesome.
Definitely kept it badass.
Yes.
Definitely. And true to all, they were all true to themselves. All of them.